Hello, duelists. Welcome to the European World Championship qualifier in 2024 here in Berlin. It's Friday, and this is quite irregular because we typically don't have a broadcast for you on Friday, but we have world qualifying points playoffs for you. And as you can see in front of me, I have two powerhouse duelists. Just so you guys are aware, we have not one, not two, but three duels for you. We have two semi-finals. Obviously, both finalists will be going to the World Championships in Seattle, but you'll get to see the third place playoff to see who is going to be the third person who's going to Worlds through these points. It's very exciting. So let's waste no more time and introduce the two duelists in front of you. I have Anthony Lopes, who is the current national champion of France and also came second in YCS Bologna. And also we have Gabriel Netz, a top 8 in Bologna and Dortmund, a regular to topping these events. These are two powerhouse duelists, and we're ready to see which one of them is going to be making their way to the final. This is very exciting and very tense. So gentlemen, we're going to do a high roll to see who's going to go first. Gabriel's going to roll first. Okay, that's a 9. Let's see what Anthony gets here. That is a 9. Okay, the duel is really this, the dice roll. Okay, that is a 10. Okay, and an 8. So you're going to go first. Okay, Gabriel is going to go first. So I'm going to hand you over to Nadir, Alberto, and Basti, who are going to be your wonderful commentary trio to take you through this semi-final here for the World Qualifying Points Playoff. Gentlemen, take it away.
Thank you, Ed. Welcome, everyone. This is the live stream of the peak of Yu-Gi-Oh! Competition. That coveted spot at the World Championship 2024 is now ready to be told. The story is unfolding. Gabriel Netz versus Anthony Lopes. I am so excited, Alberto.
No, honestly, guys, our players battled it out throughout the whole year to come to this point and also basically defeated all the other duelists that qualified for this tournament. And I mean, it's been an amazing year, and honestly, you really want to get your chances today before the European Championship that is taking place. The tension is high like this, honestly, and what are your impressions, Seb?
Yeah, I mean, the way has been very, very long for them the entire season. We saw them grinding. Anthony actually first place on the leaderboard, making it here into the whole top 16 playoff. And now, rightfully so, also sitting in top 4. They managed to go through 4 rounds of Swiss, which you will also be able to see later on because we pre-recorded these. But now, if they just win one match of Yu-Gi-Oh!, they are going to go to the World Championship in Seattle this year. So let's see how this one turns out. Let's start with the first semi-final of this World Championship points qualifier. Let's go into the match.
This is a really extremely tense moment as both players just need to win one match out of the 2. So this is top 4. We will not be playing the finals because the 3 spots offer you a chance to go to the World Championship. So the top 4 makes you into the final. You win your spot from this game. The second top 4 game is also going to be live streamed. We will be showing that to you. And of course, thereafter, there's a 3rd spot. We're going to then play a 3rd place match. So in a way, this is a bit of a double elim situation as Gabriel Netz leads with Tractus.
Fiendsmith's Tract is being activated, which is usually kind of an not so great start because we are normally trying to start off with normal summoning, Snake Eye Ash or something, and then at some point searching out Fiendsmith Tract through the Engraver. But by drawing the Tract, we're kind of forced to start off with that. Good thing though, we don't need to go for a Moon of the Closed Tavern because we're already having a Light Fiend monster on the field with the Lurry. So we immediately start off by Link summoning into the Requiem, and now there is our Engraver on the field as well coming through the Requiem.
Yeah, so the cool thing about the Fiendsmith engine in Snake Eye specifically, whether or not you do open the Engraver or the Tractus, it is still going to be a way to combo forward. But we still have a starter extender in our hand already, bringing out the Engraver and then bringing out the Diabell Star, the Black Witch, to set the Sinful Spoils directly from the deck. And while the Fiendsmith engine can indeed connect you into the Snake Eye portion of your deck, hard drawing it like this does allow you to still perform your combos and keep pushing through as Gabriel patiently awaits a inevitable disruption surely to come from Anthony's hand.
Totally. I mean, both of their decks are built kind of similar. Both of their decks are also kind of similar for what we saw from the North American version of this points play of last week, and they're featuring a lot of hand interactions. I think like one of them plays 18 hand interactions in their main deck, the other one plays 19 even. So you would definitely expect when half of the deck is consisting out of those interactions to see some of them on the first turn. But so far, Anthony is just leaning back, enjoying what Gabriel has to offer. And I think Gabriel, by starting with the Fiendsmith's track there, he may have baited for cards like Ash Blossom and Joy Spring and so on.
That might be the case, honestly. And I mean, you may also expect Anthony is holding up into the Nibiru, which has been honestly huge and super impactful. But as we said before, honestly, you usually have to combine Nibiru with another hand trap, because otherwise that will be not enough.
That's true, but I mean, he has plenty of ways to combine it. There's Impermanence, there's Veiler, there's so many cards he could have to be pairing it up with the Nibiru. And honestly, when you do have that one Nibiru and you have something to pair it up with, you're also usually holding the other card that you want to pair with it for a good moment. So when you only have an Impermanence, for example, you're probably just going to throw it on the first Snake Eye Ash or something. But when you have the combination of those two cards, it becomes a little later when you're trying to work against your opponent. So let's see whether Anthony has that glorious combination of Nibiru plus something.
Yeah, so the Primal Being is, of course, a massive pivotal point in this matchup. A lot of players have been main decking it, and then, as you mentioned, pairing it up with other disruption to then clear the entire field. But Gabriel, no stranger to being able to circumvent and play through cards that are not readable from the hand, despite the stone-faced poker face that Anthony has for us. Again, you know, there still is a chance that we are holding for the opportune moment to drop a Nibiru and a further disruption alongside with it. Otherwise, we're just going to have pure engine on his side to try and push through Gabriel's Enfield here.
Yeah, so Snake Eye Oak coming down, bringing back the Snake Eye Ash. Oh no, let's go for the Snake Eye Poplar instead. I guess that works. And of course, Anthony winning the biggest national champion of the entire season here in Europe, winning the French national champion. So therefore having a title this season already after falling short at YCS Bologna, where he came second place. But Gabriel, even though he did not win one of these big tournaments, he made top 8 in 2 different YCSs this season. So also enjoying such a great season overall, therefore making his way into this playoff. And now in this game between two friends, one of them will already book their way to the World Championship, and the other one, the loser of this match, will still have another chance in the third place game, of course.
So you can see we've established a 3-material Appaloosa here. And on top of that, we have now finally got into the all-important Snake Eyes Flamberge, which is then going to place the IP Masquerade from the graveyard into the Spell and Trap zone. There, we have a Veiler coming down here.
Very interesting timing on that.
He has patiently awaited for this moment here, and now Gabriel has to make the decision to negate with Appaloosa, which he does indeed. Chains He had 2 hand traps this whole time.
That's crazy. You would really not expect that, because when you're watching a regular game of Snake Eye or being played against Snake Eye, usually as soon as you could, people would be throwing down those hand interactions. But Anthony, I can guarantee you, has tested this matchup so much, and maybe he has found a different solution. Maybe that's the reason he sits here in this top 4 spot, being ready to maybe qualify for the World Championship. He went a different route, and that could be paying off big time here.
I mean, you can see just how masterfully he waited for the opportune moment. I mean, I'm not really seeing how Gabriel can actually keep playing here. I mean, I think maybe the Necro Princess that we can go for from using the equip from the grave, potentially. Something like that. Continue with a Link Summon. Flamberge still hasn't resolved the grave effect, so that's important to pay attention to. Totally. The Imperm has been used, which means Appaloosa is negated, but further than that, isn't going to be useful on the follow-up turn, as it will just have no negates. So we're going to send that off here. So it looks like Gabe is still trying to play under the impression that there's a potential Nibiru. Keeping that Flamberge up, Sequence being summoned to the field here, the new portion of the Fiendsmith engine, giving you the Lacrima and the Desiree. Very important pieces.
We are going to use the effect now as well, grabbing the graveyard. That fusion summoning you just talked about, of course, here happening by using materials from the graveyard. And there we go. Looks like we're lining up 3 cards to be fusion summoned, and when we're fusioning 3 monsters, that of course means it's going to be Fiendsmith's Desiree, because Lacrima would have only needed 2 monsters to be fusion summoned here. But looks like we want to have the Desiree. And Desiree usually is more of a card you want to have as part of your end field, because with the Lacrima you would be able to extend further, summon out another level 6 monster, maybe go into something like Beatrice, but here in this situation we do decide to go for the Desiree, which then on the opponent's turn is able to negate a face-up card on the field. And Anthony only has 3 more cards in hand, will draw to a 4th, so being able to knock out one of these would be pretty nice for him.
Yeah, it's really nice, especially because like Gabriel, I think he's up onto at least 2 or 3 cards in hand still. So, I mean,
yeah,
still far from over. And I mean, I really like, by the way Anthony played this out. You know, it was very patient. But let's see if his patience will, you know, pay off. And
oh, but look at that! I think
what
we're using
it?
the graveyard effect of Fiendsmith's Tract, and we're fusing away the Desiree right away. And therefore, the decision, first of all, looked like he would be committing to that. But here's the Lacrima coming anyways, and we already have the Desiree now set up in the graveyard as well.
Yeah, so going for the initial Desiree summon to then fuse it away for the Lacrima means that it can just activate its on-field effect to then return it.
Sure.
We just need to get an equip onto the Desiree to make sure that negate is live. And again, the little point of fear here, I think, is maybe still waiting for a Nibiru to come down. So still risking it by now going into that Flamberge, which is going to now get to trigger.
That's a good tool to play around a potential Nibiru, though, by going into SP Little Knight here.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is fantastic stuff. But Anthony, let's talk about the fact that he used that effect Veiler on the Flamberge Dragon. So I think Nibiru is still very likely, because he wanted to make sure there's nothing waiting in the Spell and Trap Zone to be summoned out of the field spell, potentially. And therefore, we just Veilered the Flamberge Dragon. So I'm almost certain at this point that must be a Nibiru waiting in his hand.
Honestly, yeah, that will make a lot of sense. And here Gabriel, by the way, is playing this out very well, because I think maybe you may be catched off guard when, you know, such hand traps are being activated very late in the turn, but still is navigating through this very well. And here with the Princess, let's see how he wants to extend this even further.
Looking at his graveyard, it's such a weird scenario, linking of your own Appaloosa on your first turn. But I mean, yeah, it was Imperm, so you can't really do anything with it. You may as well use it as a link fodder for another link monster. And ooh, okay, shall be this zone instead. And Anthony's like, yeah, bro, you kind of decided already on that zone, so let's stick to that zone, which is fair enough. And now we're linking off the Poplar. That means we have to go with the Princess into a fire monster still, as we were only able to summon fire monsters, and that is going to be the Hita here. But there is no fire monster we could use in our opponent's graveyard, though.
Yeah, I think he's just setting it up potentially for the Princess on the follow-up turn here, rather than using it as a actual meaningful point of extension. We still haven't used Engraver in the graveyard, so that's still offering some more extension plays here as we continue to link up even further, going into the spellcaster requirement of Celine, which is what Hita offered there.
But what are we trying to accomplish with that Celine? Because very obviously we went through that Appaloosa already. It's already sitting there in the graveyard, and Celine usually is being used to then also have access to the Appaloosa. And I don't even think there is another Link 4 monster in the extra deck of Gabriel, because he's not even running Access Code Talker or something like that.
Does he play in the side deck? No, I know.
Yeah, I think he's just using it as follow-up for the next turn to then use it as a quick effect to bring back Dia Bellstar.
Actually, it is a quick effect. Yeah, this is follow-up, to be fair.
Okay, no Nibiru actually from Anthony. Passes turn. A very strange and awkward turn for Gabriel. I wonder if he's ever played into a situation where Veiler Imperm were held for so long. And now it's time for Anthony to try and clap back here. That's a good start. We've got Bonfire. And big decisions to be made here by Gabriel. Does he let it go through? Does he negate with Desiree? Risk things like Talents and a possible extender. Lots of different potential options available to Anthony. To Gabriel here, depending on what he decides to do.
Ooh, are we thinking about using SP Little Knight here? It almost seems like that, but that feels like a waste, because you surely want to go after an opponent's monster here with the SP Little Knight when resources are so little. Oh, the Desiree. Oh no, he just ends up giving the thumbs up, so Anthony goes right into the deck, and he's going to surge out either Poplar or Snake Eye Ash here, whatever he thinks is more suitable, because Poplar, of course, could special summon itself out right away, but the Snake Eye Ash, of course, ultimately could be resulting in more.
Yeah, nothing relevant on Gabe's side to summon from the temple, unfortunately. That Veiler on the Flambirds was really important, cutting off that Masquerena play. So again, he's very limited in what points of interaction Gabe has, so he does have to really consider those options very, very seriously.
Yeah, and we did end up going with the Snake Eye Ash, which immediately is also going to be coming down as a normal summon here on Anthony's side. And of course, it's going to use its effect, so Gabriel would have the option to respond to that with the SP Little Knight. We can also just still respond to that with the Desiree, so I feel like one of those two choices might be coming down here.
Yeah, so negating the Ash is obviously really strong because you also have the secondary effect of Ash to consider. That's an infinite impermanence is huge.
Is even better, because you were talking about cards like Triple Tactic Talons and such, and we have just perfectly played around that too by not even using a monster effect to get that Ash, to get that Snake Eye Ash negated.
Which I think makes perfectly sense for Gabriel, especially because like Anthony now, here what do you do with the Desiree? You just risk it?
It's a difficult decision. The thing is, with the Snake Eye Diabellstar that is probably going to be, not the Black Witch that is probably going to be searched here, they would have to give up another card. So maybe just wait for the Snake Eye Diabellstar and then negate that one. I kind of like that, to be honest.
Okay, so removing the body for the Snake Eye Ash here is pretty cool because it means that we are going to most likely wait for the Diabellstar, as you said, negate her, but also by removing the body with the SP Little Knight, it's going to prevent something like Dark Horhita from being used by Anthony here.
I love this. So Anthony would have to discard another card here from hand now, ultimately, for that Black Witch. Which one is it going to be? Of course, now the first monster effect was also activated, so Triple Tactic Talons could be crucial from here on now. So how is Anthony going to pilot these 3 cards he only has left in hand? But to be fair, Gabriel's interaction here is limited too. He only really has that Desiree left. Yes, but Celine can bring back a monster, but that's not really going to provide any kind of disruption. It's going to be follow-up, but nothing that Anthony would have to worry about this turn. So if Anthony has that Witch plus something else that he can really do a whole lot with, he might be able to break through this here, honestly.
Yeah, it's really down to what that last and final card is. 3 in hand, 1 has to be discarded for the Diabellstar. So essentially, there's 1 card really that matters in Anthony's hand here, and let's find out and see what it is as he deliberates very, very carefully what he needs to try and play through the field here that he's managed to somewhat prevent from being fully established from that really patient Imperman Veiler. Credit where credit is due. That was incredibly well sought after from Anthony.
Yeah, I mean, something that could also be interesting.
It's Engraver. Wow.
I mean, that's not even the discard here for the Diabellstar, but we're going to activate the effect of Engraver, which is very, very strong, because now that is another resource in the graveyard. That is something, even though we're getting stopped on the Black Witch, that is something we can work with from there on. So I think Anthony might have multiple pushes here to somehow end up pushing through this.
I think it was the best one, honestly, to have in hand.
That's
the side of the Diabellstar, because now it changes everything. Because like I think Gabriel navigated through this very well with Desiree being on the field, but that just sets up like there was only 1 interruption, right?
Yeah.
With the Engraver being sent to the field, honestly, now to the graveyard now, I think Anthony's on the drive sit.
Oh, and there is Triple Tactic Talons too. Oh my!
Wow.
We of course have to negate that with the Desiree. That leaves Anthony free to do whatever he wishes from here on. And there is the track now being activated. And he did search it out with the Engraver, which is the better way of doing it. Also, Valeri was not waiting in hand. He could just search it out from his deck, now discard it, and it immediately is going to activate, provide Anthony the first monster.
We have Princess in the grave, right?
Ooh, you're right.
So,
you're right. There is one more thing waiting for him. But are we going to use it on the Lurie? I think we could, honestly.
Special summon the Lurie here allows him to continue. I think the problem with using it on the Lurie is that you can then use the Engraver in the grave, recycle the Lurie, bring back, then make Requiem. So you do have to be a little bit more patient here. And Gabriel is holding off. Perhaps maybe we'll see it hit a sequence, is maybe what he's going to wait for.
There is going to be the Engraver now on the field. And Gabriel, you can see it. It's a very tough situation. He's leaning forward, really thinking heavily about this. Of course, having tested this matchup plenty of hours. And now, apparently, the Engraver summon is where he wants to use his Promethean Princess from the graveyard. The Bestower of Flames, of course, being also a very big reason why those fire decks, why the Snake Eye decks and such are so successful in the last couple of months. And it's now going to take care of the Engraver on the field.
Yeah, so this was the last and final point of disruption that Gabe can offer here. The Fiendsmith Engraver can bring itself back from the graveyard, and then also likewise in the process, it's a huge battle to fight through here because we have to deal with this whole field, and now Gabriel gets the search for the last card in hand now, and Ash to be able to do a lot of this again on the next turn, and just such a huge field here as well to try and fight through.
Yeah, I mean, we still have that Black Witch, and we are going to be able to get a monster onto the field, which is that Fiendsmith Engraver from the graveyard, and that could be sent to the graveyard now through the Black Witch, and then, when we just get into original Sinful Spoils, our whole Snake Eye package could be going again, but on the other hand, Snake Eye Ash was previously negated, so we couldn't search out Poplar anymore.
This was a really, really important play here by Anthony with the equip of the Requiem attaching itself onto the Engraver, allows him to get the free send for the Diabell Star, which is important with no more cards left in hand. Then we set the Sinful Balls, and now it's time to go into Poplar, or potentially Oak, to bring back the Ash. The Ash second effect hasn't been used this turn. It was first negated by the Imperm. So Anthony choosing to go for Poplar here, it looks like.
And also very important to note, as we now got to that point of also resolving the original Sinful Spoils, that Wanted in the graveyard is going to give him another card because it will be able to banish itself and put that original Sinful Spoils back to draw an additional card. So Anthony really gets into the position again here of turning this around. This is perfectly piloted. Honestly, Anthony, when I watch him play, I almost feel like I'm watching a robot, honestly. The way he's moving, the way he's going through those combos, through those steps, it's absolutely analytical, absolutely perfect. And his gameplay, as it has been for so many times throughout the season, is once again on point here.
Yeah, no, as good of a Fiendsmith Snake Eye mirror as one can have. This is definitely a more enjoyable one to watch here as we are piloting this super expertly from both players' sides here.
Totally.
You can see the sequences being summoned into a fusion summon of the Lacrima. Lacrima then gets to bring back the Engraver. We now have 6 access if we want to go into...
Finally time for one of your favorite cards, my friend here.
Potentially Beatrice sending the Oak, reviving with the Promethean Princess here.
There it is. The Eternal Lady, or the Lady of the Eternal, is going to use its effect again, and it's going to end up sending the Oak to the graveyard, as you already were thinking.
Yeah, okay. Snake Eye Diabell Star, scales Poplar, summons itself out here, links that away into the 3 for the Promethean Princess. And I think the hard part here is trying to find a way to get to game because of the extra deck and how tight it is. Might not have potentially the ways to try and push through this. We see the Flamberge being summoned out of Anthony's deck. Whizzing through these plays here, no more disruptions left on Gabriel's side, and it's just a case of how much Anthony can clear and try and prevent.
Yeah, honestly, Raging Phoenix and then Zilantes was such a common tool for Snake Eye decks in the past, but now, with the Fiendsmith cards in the extra deck, we saw Beatrice, we saw Desiree, Lacrima, Requiem, Sequence, there's many cards you also have to include into your extra deck. There's no space for Zilantes and the Raging Phoenix anymore, therefore that convenient tool that would have probably immediately brought him the win here, he will have to think a little longer. He will have to find a different way to figure this out.
Yeah, that's also why most of the players are side decking Access Code Soccer, right? Which is, you know, insane. And yeah, might have helped him out now, but, you know, I think he will find other ways. But honestly, what a showcase from Anthony.
Yeah, it's... For a game 1, this is really as good as it gets from this type of mirror match here as we go into Hita to then steal the opponent's fire monster. Well, we could go for a double Flamberge.
I mean, he doesn't have to care about the second effect of Flamberge here anymore, being able to bring back fire monsters as this was already used that turn. Exactly. Also, there's no space on the field of Gabriel to even bring back any monsters. Therefore, that is no concern for him at the moment. And Anthony is just thinking where to go with this. Honestly, Access Kotoka, as you were just mentioning, it was only the 16th card for Anthony. He only decided to include it into the side deck, but it would be so convenient right here, right now in his extra deck. But he will only be able to rely on that from the second game on. And we are in the battle phase, apparently.
Yeah, we're in the battle phase. We're clearing the Princess. I'm a little bit surprised about that. Maybe do you think scaling it would have been a better option there?
I could see that, yeah.
That might have been an option. Yeah.
Still haven't used our Flamberge, I believe. Have we?
Maybe we want to use that on one of our own cards in the graveyard, though. Maybe we do
use it as some setup.
Yeah, maybe we do end up summoning an IP Masquerena or something like that, attacking over almost all of the monsters that Gabriel had on his field, but he so carefully tried to set up. Yo, we can just use the opponent's IP Masquerena, I guess. That works perfectly fine. We don't even have to summon one ourselves.
Yeah,
we can just use the one that Gabriel still has, of course, in his graveyard.
And I believe Anthony hasn't resolved his own Flamberge yet.
I don't think so either.
Yeah. Suddenly in a really powerful spot here. We talk about the follow-up that Snake Eye can establish, which, you know, Gabriel admittedly did manage to make a full field here, get the Snake Eye Ash to the hand, but Anthony making quick work of the field here, clearing a whole portion of it, and we just need something set up to try and prevent the clapback from Gabriel with this searched out Snake Eye Ash, and as well, of course, this top deck is going to be really important.
Ooh,
Scaling Celine, interesting.
Fairly interesting, I agree. That would have been one of the cards that I totally did not expect to be there.
I'm not sure if Anthony's happy with this play. He had a little shake of the head there. I'm curious if maybe something went wrong somewhere through this. Going to use the SP Little Knight to banish the sequence. That's pretty critical here, so it means while the Fiendsmith engine is very self-recycling in that it's very durable over the course of the entire game with your constant ability to put the cards back, permanently removing it with the...
Look at that now. We just provided Gabriel another monster that he can summon out through the temple. Oh, but that also gives us the opportunity to use the Princess in the graveyard, so maybe Anthony played this out perfectly once more.
Yeah, no, using the Flamberge as destruction fodder for our own Princess, popping the Celine that we gave them from the Divine Temple to then trigger the Flamberge, bring back more materials. And let's see what other Link monsters we can establish here.
This may have looked a little awkward, but honestly, this was perfectly executed by Anthony, and maybe Gabriel was even a little bit caught in the trap there by Anthony being like, oh yeah, I can get this for free, let me get this for free. And then Anthony's like, let's go, that enables my Princess in the graveyard, and I can extend even further. Now the Phoenix is coming down. Are we really going to get rid of the entire field by Gabriel here? That he fought for setting up so long, honestly. Like, he was playing and playing on his opening turn, and Anthony waited so long to stop him, and then on his turn he really went in. Oh, and that looks like the end phase, though.
Okay,
SP Little Knight returning. Okay, so we didn't break it fully, but still, we brought ourselves into a good situation here.
Notice that we didn't clear the Divine Temple with the Nightmare Phoenix because we wanted to keep the discard, and I'm going to hazard a guess that that's most likely an Infinite Impermanence we've got down there.
I think we're packing up our cards, and that means Anthony Lopes is going to take down game number 1 here, being one game now only away to go to the World Championship in Seattle.
What a showcase, guys. Honestly, I'm impressed. I mean, 25 minutes game 1, and
yeah, I mean, sometimes Snake Eye Fiendsmith can really just boil down into the extreme amount of hand traps that you just throw at each other immediately, cutting them off from even establishing a field in the first place. Having the Veiler and the Imperm means that if you do stop Snake Eye at any point, they can just go into their Fiendsmith engine. In this specific situation, because Gabriel led with the Tract, Anthony had this bizarre, almost holding back of the hand traps, but ended up working out quite well because, you know, you hold enough to then be able to play on your turn, and it just meant that it really put Gabriel in an awkward position.
That was really amazing. And Anthony Lopes, of course, being the first place on the leaderboard throughout the entire season, as I already said, but Gabriel, of course, being first up the Swiss here in this playoff already. He went 4-0 in Swiss. He defeated everyone, so he's definitely able to come back from this as well. So he's going to be in a bit of a...
No strangers to pressure here. Multiple deep top cut spots from Gabriel.
And honestly, looking at his side deck, it's a bit more interesting than a lot of the other players, because a lot of the players have used that Beatrice that we also saw now in the first game to use Angel of the Blue Tears, sending that card from your deck to enabling all kind of different trap cards from your deck, from your side deck specifically. But on the other end, Gabriel, has decided against that. There is no such in his side deck. There's not even real any trap cards in his side deck at all.
Totally different, honestly. And we talked about this before in the previous round, how basically players are basically adapting their side decks, you know, very differently. And
this is where it's probably going to pay off most for Gabriel here, because he's really focused hard on the mirror match.
Yeah.
He's got multiple options for going first in the mirror, more hand traps for going second. I think maybe post-siding game 2 and 3, I do personally prefer Gabriel's approach. We'll see how that plays out. Yeah, our players are definitely... our players are ready for game number 2 here. Let's get on over to the table as we are just about to start this next duel.
There we have them. Score hasn't been updated yet, but we saw Gabriel just... Oh, wait, no! Oh, that means Gabriel must have actually won the first game. Different dimension ground being activated after the Borrelia. A couple of turns just going back and forth here. And that must mean that actually Gabriel is the one winning game number 1 and Anthony just scooping while working through the field for so long.
Oh, this is such a...
What a situation!
Wow.
This is all of a sudden.
What is going on?
There's the Ash Blossom on Engraver. Things going down quickly now.
Look at how mechanically these players have just like gone through this here. Normal summon a hand trap to then go into the closed moon here. By the way, Anthony scooping the game, I suppose, realizing that Gabriel's follow-up of the Snake Eye Ash plus the recycling of the Fiendsmith engine must have put him in a commanding position. Going into game number 2, Gabriel goes first, dumps the Malcharmy. No draws being given from the Malcharmy. Anthony activates different dimension ground, passing back to Gabriel, who then passes back to Anthony.
That was insane.
All of that occurring within the span of about 25 seconds, by the way. Yeah, wow, incredible. But here we are. Double hand trap comes down from Gabriel. Anthony still pushing through. There's the Necro Princess. Then being able to recycle, summoning out the Engraver.
Gabriel thinking on the summon, making that clear. Maybe I want to do something here. And that is the Nibiru, the primal being. We thought Anthony might have it in game number 1, but now Gabriel is the one having it here in the second game.
And down to 1 card in hand from Anthony here. I'm not sure if we have anything else yet. Nope, no bonfire for the Poplar. Gabriel does need an engine piece to try and push through here. Anything at all. Bonfire, Bellstar, Ash, something can get Gabriel back into this one. And Anthony sits patiently with a card in hand. Is it another hand trap? Let's see if Gabriel can actually mount an offense here. How much defense does the Necro Princess have?
2,000. So 2,000? Okay. Too big to be overcome.
Too big for
here.
the Nibiru, yeah. At least trying to have a way to out this token and try and establish something. Any normal summon try to go into the Engraver.
I think it's 3 monsters, but can't really quite tell what they are, to be fair. So it's... okay.
Oh, we're normal summoning Malcharmy. I guess that will do. That will do for Link 2 summon to go into the Moon of the Closed Heaven, immediately being linked away to go into Requiem as well, and Anthony just sitting there, nodding, having to accept that not only the Malcharmy being activated on the first time, but not also the normal summon of Malcharmy is making him problems here.
Yeah, no, it's one of the advantages of your hand traps is when you have generic extra deck enablers, you can just normal summon, go into Closed Heaven. We saw some of this with the synergies that things like Ash Blossom could offer with Halka Fibrax, you know, not so long ago. Using that to be able to just access these generic Link 2 monsters. And yeah, Gabriel is trying to go off to the races here. No responses as of yet from Anthony.
Indeed. So that Requiem now in the spam trap zone, being placed there.
Considering the options from Gabe, we'll see if we send that for the effect of a Black Witch in the hand, or if we don't have her, might just have to try and go for some kind of a Beatrice line here. Gabriel takes a little bit of a moment here to think about
Oh, we are
these
also
plays.
fusion summoning out our own copy of Necro Princess here.
Yeah, this it's the world premiere of this card, and Infinite Forbidden is absolutely incredible. Just acting as almost like a Link 1 monster that allows you to then have that level 6 synergy. It works so well with the Fiendsmith Engraver. They really were made for each other, but it looks like we're going to go into a Link 2 here, going for the sequence. Beatrice as an option, not really having enough materials and fodder on the field to be able to actually enable the Princess. Snake Ash line as we fuse away 2 monsters going into Lacrima, it looks like.
Absolutely, yep. He has decided on that. We've seen him now multiple times go for the Desiree first and then going for Lacrima, but for that he always had the tract in the graveyard already to even do that.
Yeah.
But here he doesn't have the tract yet, so he will just have to go for the Lacrima right away. But that Lacrima doesn't have anything to bring back anymore, as we used the Engraver there to fusion summon into it, so I don't even know how much it provided there, to be honest. At least we're going to get to Promethean Princess, I assume.
Alright, activating the effect of the Lacrima to recycle and deal 1200 points of damage when sent away. Get to summon the Ash Blossom.
Yeah, summon back Ash. We've heard that plenty of times.
Not?
Not that Ash usually, but I guess it will do. And we're going to link up into another Fire Link monster. Ooh.
Okay.
Our opponent may have a better Fire monster to summon back, though.
Get the Flamberge of the opponent. Anthony's discarded Flamberge actually being a bit of an issue here, as we now have a big enough monster. Well, we can place the token in the spell and trap zone and actually try and deal some damage, but don't really see if we can actually make anything on Gabriel's side here. Maybe an SP Little Knight to end on?
Potentially, yeah. And I mean, to be fair, Anthony also only has 1 card in hand, so
yeah, nothing
if
used
we
yet.
get damage in here by attacking with both monsters, Anthony would be putting onto that literal clock, where he would have to draw into something, play on the next turn, or otherwise it would be going into Gabriel's favor and he would be going to the World Championship.
Big back and forth here from the players from that game number 1. The clock is ticking away as we approach the 15-minute mark. Time is something to think about and consider as we
Okay, we are on the battle phase. That is going to bring down Anthony's life points significantly. And yeah, he's also realizing that he will need a good draw here, because he does not even have 2,000 life points left.
Yeah, it's looking pretty bad. We've got 1 card in hand. A star top deck is what Anthony needs in this moment to try and get back into this game.
Yeah.
No real disruption on Gabriel's side. I'm not sure if we have a hand trap. I didn't quite see that, but yeah, we need a good engine piece here. Top
Again,
deck,
there
draw
still
for
is the
turn.
princess, but
Do
when
we
there
have
is a
it?
card more to be drawn, there's always a chance in Yu-Gi-Oh! And
Standby
there's
main.
normal
Normal
summon
summon
Luri.
Luri.
Okay, that can do things.
Haven't we used Requiem?
No, I think he still has it. Yeah.
Did we already have it? Okay.
Linking it up,
Yeah,
there
we
is
still
the
have it.
Requiem indeed.
No response. Special summon out the Engraver from the deck. This is going to be able to actually establish some sort of an offense here, because, wow, we are very much behind after that crazy back and forth for the first 3 or 4 turns there, depleting a lot of the cards out of our hand, but both players just in a super simplified game state right now.
So, Gabriel thinking whether that would be a good moment. I think he used the princess earlier on an Engraver as well, so maybe that is the moment he wants to generally use the effect of princess in the graveyard. Gabriel's just looking at the graveyard from Anthony, spreading it out, as you usually do with your own graveyard, but we're just looking at the opponent's one here, trying to figure out how many resources are there in...
I think he's debating on whether or not to use the princess.
Yeah.
Could potentially have a Bestial as well, you never know. Very popular card, people playing up to 7 copies of those in the main for the mirror match, so lots of reasons to check the grave in this scenario, and we are going to activate the princess, yeah.
Are we going to give up the opponent's Flamberge? Looks like it. I mean, we can always get it back with the Hita in the next turn. Oh, or not. Okay, it's going to be our Hita that we're going to give up, and it's going to be destroyed. Yep. Going to the graveyard as the Engraver on the opponent's side of the field does. Does Anthony have anything else to add to that? Okay, first of all, Engraver just gone, but coming back right away through the graveyard effect. And what else is there?
Requiem.
All right.
Last
And
card.
there is the Black Witch!
That's
Anthony has drawn into the card he needed. Off we go
Unbelievable.
once more.
Unbelievable. Wow. The princess popping. Last card. The princess for the send of the free equip being able to attach itself from the graveyard, meaning that princess has no requirements basically to be able to summon itself and then get the sinful spells out onto the field.
Dramatic scenes here in the first semi-final of the points playoff. Also noteworthy, Nibiru right now not able to be activated anymore, as we have summoned out that princess there to our own side of the field. Also the Bestials you were talking about, not possible, dark monsters. So that is going to be just Anthony playing for here now. And
Yeah.
funnily enough, now with that Flamberge there on the opponent's side of the field, we may as well just attack over it somehow and then use the effect of it by attacking over it and getting monsters out that way.
At some point we can do that. Again, you'll notice that Anthony's play has significantly sped up here because he knows that he's going to be going second in game number 2. Well, a very, very nice little bonus effect the Fiendsmiths offer you is the Lacrima Burn. So doesn't want to be falling victim to that or something like Spooky Dogwood either, which a lot of players have been playing. So no one wants to end up in that time situation. Anthony playing as quickly as possible here.
There is the track being activated, and even though the Lurry already was on the field this turn, the previous time it was normal summon, so now being discarded off of the track means it can come back to the field again.
Yeah, free discard and free special summon. 4 bodies worth of link rating available to Anthony as well here, must be noted. And the Engraver has been used as well, remember, so we don't have a rank 6 play with Beatrice or M7. There is going to instead be Anima being made. Might be trying to go for an SP play of sorts. Sequence sent for the Sinful Balls, actually, and this is where we get into the heavy knocking part of the engine here. Look at the speed at which we're summoning our monsters here.
All right, Gabriel's like, calm down. First of all, activate the effect of Poplar in hand. We are going to do it the right way. And here,
just wondering what possible interaction he might have here. He's thinking for a moment. Keeps checking Anthony's grave, actually. Poplar summoned out of the hand from the Snake Eye Ash Search. Speeding through these combos again. Anthony very aware of the constraints of time as we approach single digits left for this game number 2 only.
Of course, Anthony being a mastermind of those Snake Eye mirror matches. He played one of those against Gabriel Susi, another competitor of this World Points playoff, which did not make top 4 at the finals of the French National Championship. So he definitely is very, very much aware of what's going on in that matchup. Now also with the Fiendsmith cards added. We have seen him use those Fiendsmith cards quite well so far, so definitely fair to say that he is an expert with those two.
Seeing these players play at the peak of their abilities is absolutely such a treat. Happy to bring this coverage to you guys because the World's Point playoff, I mean, it doesn't get, the stakes don't get higher than this. The gameplay doesn't get more technical than this. It really is such an incredible duel that we've had so far. And we're still plenty more to fight through here as Anthony is deliberating on some of the options available to him at this point in time.
Totally. Like, even though the season was so long and they fought so hard to get their spot here in this tournament, now at this point, when they are in the top 16, it feels like a shortcut to the World Championship, doesn't it? Because you only have to win 3 spots out of 16. There's like an actual mathematical good chance to make it to the World Championship. So it's definitely such a great way, a great chance to make it to the World Championship. And Anthony is fighting back right now of still having a chance to go there.
Because you can almost touch it, right? So you're almost there. So you're almost on the finishing line. And, you know, you can see the light. And here with this turnaround of events, here comes the Appaloosa.
Double Hita being used for the summon of Appaloosa. We've got the Coal-Length Nightmare Phoenix to protect it from the battle. We just need to try and get something a little bit larger here to try and get over the last 2 remaining cards of Gabriel. No battle phase has been used as of yet, remember.
That is indeed true. That Flamberge String still being kind of big, but I mean, that Flamberge String now being there on the side of Gabriel means Anthony currently has no access to it, so we can't summon it out from the deck as there only is one in the main deck. So our combo lines right now are kind of limited because we just don't get the Flamberge String out.
Yeah, I'm wondering. Okay, yeah, we're crashing.
Okay, we are using the effect of Snake Eye Diabels to actually putting both of them into the spell and trap zone. And usually that would be on 2 different sides of the field, but Anthony just grabbed both of them and he put both of them next to the Snake Eye Oak and the Nibiru token. So it's getting kind of crowded there in the spell and trap zone of Anthony.
Is it not possible to go battle phase and crash the Flamberge, bring back 2 bodies, and then keep playing from there, maybe?
We're just going to,
rather than using the effect.
Okay.
Oh wow, it looks like we're just passing on this. Okay.
Gabriel.
All right, interesting. I guess that's kind of cool because Anthony's decided to leave the fire monster up with the princess.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure we have like any super relevant targets left in the graveyard. Can bring back.
Last time we brought back Ash Blossom and Joy Spring, so I don't really think so.
Not great options from Gabe here.
Okay, I think they're currently...
The judges are just clarifying an interaction previously. I wonder what that would be for. But yeah, we're just going to have a little hold up for just a moment. Try and figure out and see what exactly the concern is.
Yeah, absolutely. So one thing that I was also... that Flamberge Dragon is going to go back. Oh, that is looking very, very interesting. Okay, so let's actually for a short moment bring it back to us, and we're going to talk about it a little bit as the players are trying to figure out what was going on there, as the judges are doing their job. Of course, with such a high pressure situation, with such high stakes going to the World Championship, you want to make sure that everything is going accordingly, and therefore we let them figure that out right now, and then we're going to be back with the match in just a moment. But yeah, they're both really fighting for it, right? Do you think they feel any pressure? Because they are playing flawlessly here so far. I mean, apparently there was a little bit of a hiccup now that the judges are intervening, but they were playing so well until this point. And it almost seems like they're not human to me, at least.
I mean, no, like from the way they played and like, you know, smashing cars on the table basically and playing at like a speed that, I mean, we have not seen so far, honestly. It's like they know this by heart, no?
Yeah,
right?
totally.
But, I mean, like in general, these two players know each other, so it's like this is something that will be resolved and fixed no matter what. But I mean, like in general, we have seen how they basically mastered this deck, and they're showcasing us how the deck is played. And it can't get better ended than this, in my opinion.
And I think the players are actually continuing with the game. So back over to the full view. Let's see how this one plays out now with the correct game state again.
Ah, okay. So Appaloosa requires two different names. We use double Kita. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
good
was-
catch by the judges.
Yeah, so specifically two different names there means we have to do a little bit of a rewind, and this actually could get a little bit awkward, I suppose, as we now have to go into the Princess, and we are locked for fires now, so... Alright, so rewinding here as well.
Okay, still ending up with the Flamberge and the Snake Idea Bellster in the Spawn Trap Zone. Now Prince is bringing back our own Hita. Oh wait, no, it is not even our own Hita. That's the problem. Okay, he's very even. Okay, there is a Poplar still to bring back. Fair enough. What's up next here?
Right, just wondering where we're going to be at now, since Anthony's line has to be significantly altered because of this. And the players again just discussing with the judges to see if there's, I think, maybe any illegal activations.
I feel like what currently is going on is that Gabriel is just making sure that he's still going to draw the same card for turn, because I think he was already in the process of drawing for the next turn, so we just want to make sure that is not going to intervene in the current game. But Anthony, still the turn player. He was already done with his turn, but then they realized, okay, there was a little bit of a mistake by using two same name monsters for that Appaloosa. Are we though going to be able now to even get to that Appaloosa anymore? Because we are right now only allowed to summon fire monsters.
Exactly.
Okay, that is not going to be the case anymore. So this could just still be Appaloosa here, and we could even summon out Appaloosa for free if we like.
It's just a little bit awkward because since you have to use the... Oh, okay, we get to banish the Princess now. You can see some frustration coming out from Gabriel's side here. I think probably a little bit dismayed at the illegal activation causing this much
but
of a...
there's Ogre on the... Yeah, Ogre on SP Little Knight, but still we're going
Still
to banish
banishing, yeah.
the Promethean Princess there.
We've got a Flamberge and a Ghost
And an
Ogre top
Ogre.
deck, I suppose,
Wow,
from Gabe's side. Yeah, not ideal.
Oh, setting a monster
Setting
only.
passing, yeah, no, that's
Anthony in the
not
driver's
great.
seat. We're going to immediately go into our main phase, use the effect of Hita, bring back the opponent's Hita. Please, this time, don't summon Appaloosa with them. But I think it's also enough to just attack with them here, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got the Engraver in the graveyard as well that can just summon itself out for free. That's extra damage, and it should be enough to attack over the set monster here. Gabriel more than happy to keep playing.
Sending Oak to the graveyard for Witch now as well. Snake Idea Bellster being summoned out too. We are in the battle phase, attacking over that Ghost Ogre, and that looks like well over 8,000, and therefore the score is even. Anthony Lopes takes down game number 2, and we are heading into a third game between these two. Whew.
What a turnaround, guys.
What an up and down roller coaster of emotions there. First off, we didn't even realize that Anthony lost the first game. Now he won the second one, though, after a hard fight and a couple of really, really interesting turns. But it is going to come down to that third and final game. Holy.
Yeah, equalized really well there, and as we mentioned many times, I mean, the level of play here from going back and forth with the constant, you know, that first 4-turn interaction was absolutely incredible. Activating the Mulch Army, denying any draws from Anthony's side, feeling safe with the different dimension ground to be flipped to
Rightfully
banish
so,
all
then,
monsters
yeah.
on the field. Gabriel deciding to then pass back. I mean, yeah, what an absolute whirlwind of emotion, a flurry of plays there. Incredible stuff as we head into game number 3 now. And I think, you know, with, again, pay attention to the clock here. Just as an update, there was a slow play warning issued to Anthony at some point. So it was a 3-minute time extension.
That's good to know.
I do believe the overlay will be correctly updated with that extension in play. So again, it's very likely this won't be a complete game. It will be down to who can at least get away that chip damage, or going first, can Gabriel successfully resolve the effect of that Fiendsmith Lacrima, an extremely important win condition, as powerful as it is, still able to be used in a timeout situation, and see if he can take this one away.
But still, we've seen them play so well, executing every move perfectly, step by step by step. But now with that pressure situation, such a small amount of time left, I think we might start seeing them cracking a little bit. Maybe the emotions getting to them a little more now with the short amount of time left. Maybe already seeing that spotted Worlds in front of them, because it's so close now for both of them with only one game away.
You can see the light. I mean, it's almost there, but the tunnel is still, you know, it's a long way.
They're sitting a very competent opponent on the other side of the field, still like standing in front of the light, trying to hide it. But one of them is going to book their ticket just now after this third and decisive game. But as you were talking about it as well, Nadir, there's of course some options that could come in here going second. And Gabriel has decided to bring in Ghost Sister and Spooky Dogwood into his side deck.
Does Anthony also
he's going
play
to start, and Anthony on the other end does not have it.
He has no time cards.
He does not have to worry about it, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say Anthony is definitely in a bit of a disadvantaged situation. Can Gabriel break that top 8 curse? Well, he has to some extent as he's reached the semi-final here, but that world spot, the coveted journey to Seattle this year, next month at the World Championship, is what this is all down to. Our players are shuffling up, just about to wrap up the post side as we get into game number 3. And again, remember that timer is going to be so critical to this, and it really, really will be a crazy end to this duel. Let's head on over to the table and see how this one plays out for the last and final time of this top 4 match.
There we have them. Third and final game, decisive game. Only the winner of this is going to go to the World Championship in Seattle. Let's see who got it. Let's see whether Gabriel can capitalize on going first. And Snake Eye Ash is a normal summon of all time. That's a normal summon that can bring you to the World Championship, I'm pretty sure.
That's huge. Ash, no response, no Impermer. Veiler coming down here, activates the effect of the Poplar in the hand to special summon. 1 minute 30 seconds is probably not a lot, and definitely not long enough to play out a full turn here. So as I said, this is going to be a huge momentous Lacrima from Gabriel. Can he establish it, and can he activate it and resolve it successfully for that 1200 burn? Anthony is staring intently here, probably thinking and realizing that the major win condition is to try and stop Sequence. I want to say will be the most important card in this situation. Can Gabriel get an Apollousa down before going for it? Potentially, depending on what Anthony has in his hand. And I don't think Anthony's deck is super suited for time situations, but we'll see what Gabriel can do about it as we go into Relinquished off the Poplar.
What are we going to do here? That's an interesting way of approaching things, because we are not going to go into Closed Moon or anything. We're just going to summon our Nightmare Phoenix using the effect of Poplar and now of Snake Eye Bellstar, but that's definitely a very unconventional way of starting things off. But I think we're just trying to get to Apollousa maybe as quickly as possible.
Yeah, so the scaling of the monsters there for the spell cards means that we can bring out the Snake Eye Bellstar, the Spellcaster. No response from Anthony. There it is. The clutch moment comes down. Apollousa does get established. And there it is.
It is there.
2 Material Apollousa, a Monster Negate. And, well, we just need to keep playing with the Bellstar. We have Ash Bellstar. Absolutely incredible. All right, the insulated combo now just has to get into the Sinful Spells for the Oak to then go into the Closed Heaven and try and pull off that burn. Time on the round. That's it. No more phases to be completed except this one. Will it be enough? And is this really all Gabriel needs?
Yeah, I mean, if Gabriel is not able to change the life points at all, of course, it's going to go back over to Anthony, as we can't take both of them to the World Championship. But let's see if Gabriel is going for that Lacrima. If he gets to that point, of course, it might as well be over in this turn. There's the Oak coming. Oak is going to use its effect, of course, as well, bringing back either the Oak, the Ash, or the Poplar.
All right, activates the Oak, bringing back the body here. I don't think there's really anything else you can put up in terms of disruption and insulation from any more hand traps. It really is just Apollousa to try and protect that Fiendsmith engine as best as Gabriel can here to try and get that burn damage through.
Yeah, I mean, very clearly what Anthony needs is a way to stop the sequence, to not fusion summon. And then you also need to have a way to stop the Apollousa on top of that. But maybe just a singular impermanence on the sequence might be enough. Might be enough to get him another turn. That could work, honestly. I don't think Anthony is totally out of this just yet, because we saw that he's running so many interactions from his hands. So I could actually see this coming down to another turn here.
Yeah, it may work, honestly. I mean, I can't see like a scenario in which you wouldn't, but I mean, we will soon find out. Gabriel is just taking some time here because you really won't make any mistakes at this point.
Yeah, I mean, time is no longer relevant. Still having to play at a reasonable pace, though, however.
Oh, hold on. Anthony says, looking for the graveyard. So Anthony has not given up on this just yet. He wants to check the graveyard. That, of course, an indicator that maybe Nibiru might be around, and that is the time to drop it. And there it is. Nibiru, the primal being, trying to be negated by the Apollousa. But the Veiler comes down as well. We are still in this, but there's cross-out designated for Gabriel. Netz trying to use it on the effect Veiler. No way it is going to resolve.
That's incredible.
Wow. That is crazy, Gabriel.
I think it will actually push through. Nibiru stays in hand. Once per turn, can't be used again, and Veiler negated for the whole turn. And there it is, the Fiendsmith engine has been successfully accessed here. For those wondering what the time procedures are in a top cut situation like this, first damage here would win. Should that not be the case, although I'm struggling to see what Anthony can do from here, should that not be the case, we will be checking the life points at the end of each turn if it was to then pass back to Anthony. And Gabriel here has all but sealed his spot to the World Championship. Does Anthony have any more shockers in his hand to prevent that Lacrima? I mean, it's a lot to ask for, to then have some way to prevent Lacrima and a way to then play on the following turn.
That is true. And I mean, maybe now the decision of Gabriel pays off. He did not include those Angel of the Blue Tears. He did not include those trap cards in his side deck. He went with the approach of playing Crossout Designator as a designated going first card, and here you can see how it pays off. But there is a Druid's Worm on the on the Requins
Worm.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. Shuffling, banishing for the sequence here to prevent the fusion summon of Lacrima.
Ooh, that could be good here, actually. I mean, maybe it's still not over for Anthony. But there is still the Apollousa ready to negate.
Don't we just Apollousa negate?
I would assume so.
Is there...
No, it's going to be summoned to the field.
Okay.
I mean, okay, I think Gabriel can still just fusion summon. Yeah, I think he can still just perform the fusion summon here. Yeah,
we shuffle back the... Sorry, the Requiem gets banished, and... Yeah, no, it doesn't matter. Yeah, you don't need to use your Apollousa. You still have the fodder required. You've got the light fiend.
Oh, SP Little Knight, and also Chainlink 1 was for Lacrima. Lacrima is the one that can actually bring the life points difference into place here. We're trying to lower the opponent's life points, but bounces to Alan. Gabriel Netz is going to the World Championship by defeating Anthony Lopes here in top 4 of this World Championship points playoff. Oh my. What a deserved winner of a crazy match here.
You know, it's really interesting that the natural reaction there is to just immediately negate that Druid's Worm, but it doesn't matter. You still have the fodder to be able to go into the Lacrima. Why risk anything else? Activate the Lacrima in the graveyard, protected from the SP Little Knight, from anything silly afterwards, like a Skullmeister maybe. Still insulated from that, and the 1200 damage comes in. And GG.
What an insane match, honestly, guys. What we have witnessed is unbelievable. Our players played it out incredible well, and also credit to Anthony Lopes in game 2. I think it was over, right?
Yeah.
And I mean,
not only
what
credit to him, he's about to come back. He will still fight another time.
He still has a chance.
It's not over.
It's not over, right? Yeah. But still, congratulations to Gabriel, who is the first player advancing to the World Championship in Seattle in September. Unbelievable performance for Gabriel. Guys, we will soon be back for round 2 of our semi-final. Don't go anywhere. It's been a pleasure.
We'll just be with you a little bit longer as we have our players set up for the interview just
winner's
now.
interview is just going to come in a moment. But let's praise Gabriel Netz. Of course, the happiest person right now in the entire room. Just qualified the World Championship. Very deserved as well after the season he has showed us. He basically topped every event. And not just that, he went deep in every event. He didn't win a title, but top 8 after top 8 after top 8. It was really amazing to watch him play, consistent in the game for so long now, and now going to the World Championship.
Yeah, very well deserved. I cannot sing the praises of Gabriel enough. You know, such an incredible player who's established himself really well over the last couple of years in the European circuit, even so far as going across the pond in North America, still having achievements and credentials achieved there via the 3 versus 3, some tops as well in Latin America, an all-round player who's proven himself without a doubt a very, very deserving player to then represent the United Kingdom and Europe at the World Championship this year. Really exciting, and I can't wait to see just exactly how that plays out. What a match!
I'm so happy for him. Yeah. That was he's also such a nice guy in general, right? He's always smiling. He's such a good representative for us at the World Championship, and I'm very, very sure that he's going to put countless hours into that tournament again, because he's someone that is just working on so many tech cards, working on adapting in the format. He once again found a way to adapt to the tournament today that he played, that he now has also won, because he is going to the World Championship. Let's hear it from the man himself. Let's go over to Gabriel Netz and Ed for the winner's interview.
That's right, I am here with Gabriel Netz, who is now going to the World Championship Series in Seattle. An overwhelmed man, so much emotion on that stage as I went over to congratulate him. Gabriel, how do you feel?
I don't know, there's no good way of describing this. Like, I was trying to be calm as possible while playing, but then like when I realized that last game, when I was like just doing the burn, I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna do it, don't get it wrong, don't get it wrong. Got it there.
I mean, this must be the best feeling in the world, because I don't want to say this, but Nadir did mention it during the commentary. You've had what he called the top 8 curse.
Yeah.
But now, look at you now, who cares about the top 8? You're going to Worlds.
There's no top 8 in the Worlds playoff.
Exactly.
But yeah, and I lost top 8 in Euros last year, so I was 1 game away from Worlds last year. So it feels like finally like
justice has been served.
Exactly.
So let's have a quick talk about that game, because let's go through game 1, because obviously there was a moment like Anthony held off on Imperm until you summoned Appaloosa. So that was a bit of a difficult moment. You were playing very well in navigating both the Imperm and possible Nibiru. But then everything sort of carried on. Anthony was playing pretty expertly, but then he scooped. But there was a bit of gear grinding. I think it was... We weren't sure what was going on the stream.
Oh, okay. So basically, like, Anthony, like, he broke my board because he had, like, 2 hand traps plus the 3 engines and talents. But kind of get his neck actually started the turn. So he didn't have a good way, like, he couldn't do everything. And so he basically came back to me with all my resources. So he has to scoop there because he knows that I'm going to be able to play.
That's what some of the speculation was backstage, because it all happened so fast that actually even the commentators were saying that Anthony won that round.
Nah, because he would have realized, he realized that, like, because I have a whole turn, I have my princess, I have everything, so I'm going to be able to play.
Okay, then game 2, there was a huge interaction spree early on, and you were seemingly dominating, but Anthony managed to take control. Then there was the moment with the Appaloosa using 2 heater, but it needs 2 different names, and that was a judge moment. So talk to us about that.
Yeah, the game was really stressful because I bricked. My hand was like Ogre and Flumberge, and he's bricked as well, and I have a point that any draw wins me the game, and I whiff this draw, I draw another Ogre, and I'm like, okay, that's the turn I go normal summon Mochami, and I try to play. And then he goes back to him and he rips a good card, but he makes that Apollo with 2 heaters. The annoying thing is that he played his turn wrong, game 2, and he was coming back to me with the princess in the field, and that's when the stream caught. And then when he went back to him, he was able to fix it and SP my princess. So it was a bit of a punish for me, because it ended up it was good for him that he got reversed.
Absolutely, and then so it was therefore 1 apiece, and there wasn't much time left. There was maybe 2 or 3 minutes, and you were playing so quickly because you needed to find that Lacrima. So talk to us about, in a moment like that where the World's Championship is on the line, what's it like when you know the time is shrinking?
Yeah, I mean, the time doesn't matter that much because I'm in my main phase. I know it's going to finish in my main phase. My stress is basically, I draw a really good hand. I'm just trying to figure out like what happens if he draws like 3-4 hand traps, because I need to guarantee that I can burn with this Lacrimosa. So,
well, there was that one moment with a huge interaction with Nibiru, which you negated with Appaloosa, which then he did Veiler on, and then you slammed down the crossout designator.
Yeah, so I would be able to negate forehand traps, because I had double Bistro in hand, so I had double Bistro saved in case I couldn't get to a Fiendsmith, because I could Beatrice dump Fiendsmith and access it that way. So I was thinking about what happens if he has 4, because I'm like, how do I lose this game? The only lose condition is Lacrima not resolving. So,
right, which then again, you then got out the Lacrima, and
and you got there.
You managed to take that win, and it was so exciting. The cameras probably didn't catch it, but you were just full-bodied emotion and celebration. So it must be amazing.
I've thought about this a couple of times. I'm like, I didn't know how to react, and I really like Anthony. I didn't want to be rude to him, and I really hope he makes it.
Of course,
And then, but I was like, God, I want to. It's just like it was going out. It was in Portuguese. It was proper, from inside.
Well, congratulations, Gabriel. Honestly, very well deserved. That was a brilliant duel to watch. We still have 2 more duels. We've got the other semi-final coming up very shortly, but then we have to see who's going to get the 3rd and final place from these World Qualifying Points playoffs. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to hand you straight back over to our new commentary team who are going to take you through the next semi-final.